Charlie Munger, one of the wealthiest and sharpest minds of the last century, was asked at one of his final birthday what he wished for. His answer, to be 83 again. Not more money, not more status, not a yacht or private island, he wanted to be 83 again. This man who could literally buy anything, almost anything, and he wanted most was just more time. Now sit with that for a second. You can compound your wealth, but you cannot compound your years. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a book that genuinely changed how I think about money, time, and how I'm living my life. It's called Die With Zero by Bill Perkins. And before you scroll away thinking this is just another spend your savings YOLO take, it's not. It's actually one of the most rigorous arguments I've ever come across for thinking about your life as a whole and not just your bank account. So I'm going to walk you through these 3 ideas from the book that hits me the hardest. And the last one I actually have on my wall right now at home. My family thinks it's a bit morbid, but I think it's the most useful thing in the room right now. So let's get to it. The first thing, you don't retire with money, you retire with memories. Here's a question nobody asks when they're building their retirement plan. What exactly are you retiring to? Because when you're on your deathbed, and I know that's a confronting image, bear with me, the account balance is completely meaningless. What you have and only have is memories, experiences, moments, and that's the whole inventory of life. For me, that's my Hong Kong trip with my colleagues from my first job. We were making what, 1,500 per month, and there were no budget air back then. Even though I have to crash on the sofa bed because we got to save on lodging, we had great fun trying to navigate our way around pre-Google Map days and exploring the island without any direction in mind. Now that trip probably cost my entire month pay. But contrast that to next month pay, where I just bought things and all that. I can barely remember what I bought, but memories of this trip will stay with me forever. That contrast is the whole point. The money you spend on stuff disappear without a trace, and the money you spend on experiences became part of you. Now here's the part that should genuinely alarm you. There are experiences that have expiry dates. Not metaphorical expiry dates, real physical one. Backpacking with almost no budget, staying in a hostel dorm room with strangers, doing a 15-hour hike, trail, sleeping on a hard surface without your body staging a full protest the next morning. For me, that was literally it. During army days, I could do all that. I could sleep on the cold bench at a firing range. Now, I need to go through a 10-step routine and make sure that my eye is masked up before I can ease myself into sleep mode. By your mid-40s, travel really looked very different. Yawning constantly, 1 day of intense activity needs equal to 2 days of recovery. You have developed an 8-step bedtime routine and you will tell people about it unprompted. So the questions Perkins forces you to ask is, are you saving the best experiences for a version of yourself who may not to have them? And before younger viewers check out, this is actually good news for you. Your income almost certainly grows over time. You can make up a saving shortfall later, but you cannot unmiss an experience. The window for certain things is open now. Now that's not a scare tactic, that is just arithmetic. Number 2, think of your net worth peak as a date, not a number. Now most of us think about retirement as hitting a number. When I have X in the bank, I'll be fine. But Perkins reframes it completely. Think of your net worth as a curve that should peak at a specific point in your life and then intentionally decline. Now this may sound radical until you hear the alternatives. I know folks in their 70s, 80s who are still trying to play Monopoly, trying to optimize their yield as a landlord when they really should de-accumulate and enjoy their later years. Perkins used a striking calculation. Say if you die with $130,000 unspent and you were living on 32K, now that's over 6,600 hours of your life work for nothing. More than 2.5 years of 50 hours week. Just gone. Work but never converted into anything. Money sitting in an account, still quietly judging you. Now I want to briefly address the fear that lives in most people when they hear this framing, because I felt it too. The fear is, what if I run out of money? Now here's why that fear is usually overstated, and I say this as someone who has definitely googled how much do I need to retire at 2 AM and felt worse about my life afterward. Your money doesn't just sit still while you draw it down. If you have say $500,000 saved and you're spending $30,000 a year, even at a modest interest rate of 1.5%, you're earning roughly $7,500 in the first year. Now let's say inflation is 3%, that only adds up to about $900 to your annual cost. You're still ahead. and your remaining balance the following year still compounds and earn return. So the math is genuinely kinder than the fear makes it feel. The fear is emotional, and there's an entire industry with financial incentives to keep it that way. I'm not saying to be reckless, I'm saying do the actual math. The number you need to retire may be lower than you've been led to believe. Now, my favorite part. This is one Perkins call it time bucketing, and the concept is almost insultingly simple, which is probably why it's so effective. Here's how it works. Draw a timeline, start from today, and at your expected age of death. Let's say 80, or use the average lah. Whatever works for you. Now divide that timeline into 5-year bucket. Then write down everything you want to do before you die. Everything. Travel, giving, hobbies, learning, building stuff, people you want to see, places you want to go. And then, this is the best part that hurts. Assign each item to a bucket where it actually belongs. Not when you would like to do it, when it's realistic that you do it, based on your health, your finances, your physical capability. What this exercise reveals is quietly devastating. Some things only happen in your 30s and 40s. Some require a financial readiness you won't have until your 50s. And some experiences have hard expiry dates you've never consciously acknowledged. You just assume they will happen eventually. Now let me walk through with you some of my time buckets. So between now to my 50s, I'm really looking to ramp up my traveling because my health allow me to do so. Because now I'm still able-bodied and can withstand the walking, long commutes with big luggages across the country and all. So my time bucket now has South Africa, which I'll be going in August, New Zealand, which I aim to do so next June, and also Austria next year. I also hope to do paragliding while I can still hold my bladder as I glide in the air. From 50 to 55, I will be sending my kids to college. I'm looking at South America to clock off my continents coverage. I'm also looking to down throttle to 20 hours per week and visit all the parks in Singapore. In fact, I'm hoping to maybe create a new YouTube channel to vlog about them. So this entire exercise actually made me realize time is really limited and one has to be intentional about how you spend them. Now, some of you may already have a bucket list. There is a difference between a bucket list and time bucketing. A bucket list made at 70 is reactive. You're working with whatever's left. Time bucketing is proactive. You look at the whole shape of your life now while you still have the ability to make a different decision. You stop drifting. You start choosing. And yes, it is confronting. I haven't felt my 70s and 80s yet, partly because it's genuinely uncomfortable to stare at those decades on a piece of paper, partly because I'm hoping future me can deal with it. But even just mapping out my 40s, 50s and 60s, seeing which things need to happen sooner, which things require more financial runway, which things I've been delaying without realizing they have expiry date, it does change things for me. Back to Charlie Munger. He was a man at the very end of an extraordinary life. Wealthy beyond most people's comprehension, intellectually sharp until the end, and his wish was simply to have more time. You cannot buy it back. No amount of compounding will fix that. Here's what you can do today. Stop treating your future self as the only version of you who deserves to actually live. Save, yes. Be responsible, confirm. Build financial security, 100%. But ask yourself honestly, where is your life energy actually going right now? And is it building the memories that matter when the balance sheet is completely irrelevant? I asked myself that question after reading this book, and the answer was uncomfortable enough that I actually changed some things. I'm still a work in progress, but at least now I have a war chart. Now, if this resonated, I would genuinely recommend picking up Die with Zero, especially chapter 1, 2, and 5, which is what I covered earlier on. If you do the time bucketing exercise, I'd love to hear what you've discovered. Drop it in the comments and let me know what's in your time bucket that you've been putting off. Like and subscribe if you want more of this kind of things. I'm trying to make content that's actually useful, not just content. I'll see you in the next one.